Hello, it's Friday, June 19th. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 10 of What's Happening in Myanmar, a show from the Frontier Myanmar podcast family. I'm your host, Nick Dunlop. This week in Myanmar, US citizens are arrested in China and Myanmar, resistance groups are accused of killing civilians, the junta holds peace talks while the World Bank downgrades economic prospects for the country, and NLD symbols are removed ahead of Aung San Suu Kyi's birthday. United States businessman Adam Castello was arrested at Yangon International Airport last Thursday. Castello, who previously led the American Chamber of Commerce in Myanmar, faces charges of breach of trust over a property dispute and up to 10 years in prison. Pro-regime accounts claim he misused Aung San Myanmar's name to take billions of kyat from chamber members. The regime's Ministry of Home Affairs has confirmed the arrest, which came after Aung San Myanmar filed a complaint against him. In a separate development, Chinese authorities confirmed they have charged Min Zin, the executive director of the Institute for Strategy and Policy Myanmar, with espionage and endangering Chinese national security. A US citizen and former student activist who fled Myanmar after the 1988 uprising, Min Zin was arrested on arrival at Kunming Airport while visiting at the invitation of a Chinese academic institution. These arrests occurred amid heightened diplomatic activity, with regime leader Min Aung meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing last Monday, where Xi expressed support for the regime and advocated for China's Belt and Road Initiative projects in Myanmar. The junta has been pursuing peace talks with several ethnic armed organizations. Last Friday, the regime held discussions with the Shan State Progress Party in Naypyidaw, where Lieutenant General Xiaopie proposed a peace process framework based on the National Ceasefire Agreement. The SSPP, which agreed to a ceasefire with the military in 1989 and has maintained neutrality since the coup, discussed establishing a committee to address narcotics, online gambling and scams and territorial encroachments. Xiaopie, who heads the regime's National Solidarity and Peacemaking Negotiation Committee, is scheduled to meet with leaders from the National Democratic Alliance Army and the United Wa State Army in eastern Shan's Mongla town this week, continuing with the regime's outreach to ethnic armed groups. Resistance groups have been implicated in several worrying incidents involving civilians. An unidentified resistance group was accused of killing 6 civilians for allegedly being junta informants in Bago region's Minla and Lepadan townships last week. The National Unity Government-affiliated Shui Tan Ye People's Defense Force has lodged a complaint with the parallel government's local administration to investigate these killings. In a particularly disturbing incident, a member of the NUG-affiliated Minbu District PDF was accused of killing an alleged junta informant by dragging him behind a tuk-tuk through Madi village in Magwe region's Piambu township. Several pregnant women reportedly suffered seizures after witnessing this brutal act. The NUG-appointed Chief Minister of Magwe Federal Unit said he would investigate the matter, but noted he cannot lead the investigation given the battalion is under the direct supervision of the parallel government's defense ministry. The resistance movement has been plagued by internal conflicts and corruption issues. The NUG's defense ministry addressed the detention of 2 former senior officers of the Mandalay PDF, Bomondang and Nainji. They were accused of stealing funds and about 27 kilograms of gold from the group. Bomondang was initially sentenced to 6 months in jail for having an affair with a married woman, who was a member of the Mandalay PDF, but later allegedly instructed Nainji to take funds and gold from the group during his detention. In another development, the NUG's Military Region 1 has detained the leader of the Sagaing PDF, Sit Nyang, and his 3 aides in Sagaing Region's Indore Township. The reason for their detention remains unclear. Additionally, the leader of the Golden Eagle Force, Moniwa resistance group, was assassinated in an ambush near Tong Ma To village in Sagaing's Moniwa township. It's unclear what group was behind the killing, but local sources said the area is controlled by the resistance. The Chinland Defense Force Latu also clashed with the Chin National Front in Chin State for unknown reasons, though the 2 groups have since resolved the matter peacefully. Myanmar's economy continues to face significant challenges, with the World Bank downgrading its growth forecast for the 2026 to 2027 fiscal year to just 2% from the previous projection of 3%. This downgrade is largely due to the surge in domestic fuel prices triggered by the conflict in the Middle East. The bank noted that Myanmar's heavy reliance on imports, small oil refining capacity, and limited foreign exchange reserves have left little room to cushion the external price shocks. Inflation has risen sharply from March, reaching 24.6% year-on-year in April, while the value of the kyat has further declined, creating additional economic pressures on the population. After more than 10 years of award-winning journalism, we at Frontier are fighting for our survival. The grants that once supported 2/3 of our operations are no longer available. Despite this, our journalists continue their difficult and dangerous work, but with decreasing resources. Please encourage friends and colleagues to join Frontier so we can continue producing our trademark features, in-depth investigations, and on-the-ground reporting. By joining Frontier, you'll be supporting us to tell the stories that matter and to cut through the noise to reveal what's really happening in Myanmar. Please click the link in the podcast show notes to join us. Thank you. The regime has intensified its suppression of the National League for Democracy ahead of imprisoned Aung San Suu Kyi's 81st birthday today. Last week, authorities removed the NLD signboard and its peacock emblem from the party's Yangon headquarters, as well as a portrait of General Aung San from Suu Kyi's lakeside home. The NLD was proscribed after failing to re-register with the Union Election Commission in March of last year, and security has been tightened nationwide around her birthday. At the same time, supporters in Myanmar and abroad have marked the occasion despite a reported crackdown on commemorations. Activists encouraged people to wear roses and share tributes online, while a banner calling for Suu Kyi's release was hung at General Aung San's statue in Yangon's North Dagon township. In Mandalay, junta-linked militiamen allegedly arrested vendors and destroyed roses, while in Sagai's Wetlet township, a pro-resistance group organized a 13-kilometer run with about 200 participants. European embassies posted birthday messages online, and Myanmar activists in London staged a hunger strike outside the embassy. Bangladesh continues to grapple with the Rohingya refugee crisis, with Foreign Minister Khalilur Rahman saying his government is working to establish dialogue between the regime and the Arakan army to create secure conditions in Rakhine State conducive to repatriation. Rahman emphasized that safe, voluntary and sustainable repatriation is the only lasting solution to the refugee crisis. Bangladesh hosts more than 1 million Rohingya refugees who have fled successive waves of persecution in Myanmar. Meanwhile, Bangladesh has begun constructing barbed wire fences along the Myanmar border to strengthen security and curb transnational crime, with the border guard Bangladesh implementing coordinated measures to protect national interests. The Myanmar National Democratic Alliance Army on Saturday publicly executed 4 men in its headquarters of Lao Kai town in northern Shan state for allegedly committing several crimes, including murder. 3 defendants received life sentences during a public trial attended by hundreds of residents before being shot. This marks at least the 6th public execution carried out by the MNDAA since launching Operation 1027 in October 2023. While Min Online was visiting China, regime attacks across Myanmar reportedly killed at least 17 civilians on Wednesday. In Rakhine State's Choktor town, airstrikes killed at least 7 civilians, including a child, and wounded 15 others. Homes, warehouses, and a market were also destroyed, with residents describing bodies recovered from a market and ongoing fires after the strike. Choktor has been under Arakan Army control since February 2024, but continues to face airstrikes. In Sagaing Region's Wetlet township, airstrikes killed 5 civilians, including a 5-year-old child. Separate drone and artillery attacks in Wetlet and Kachin State's Shuegu township killed a number of civilians, injuring several others. The military has also been reinforcing positions in Kachin State in recent weeks. A disturbing scandal has emerged at a boarding school for Myanmar migrant children in the Thai border town of Mae Sot. where the head has been accused of sexually abusing and harassing 4 students and a teacher. The school's administrative council, led by monk Ashin Atavara, suspended the principal and filed charges against him at a local police station. Due to administrative challenges and funding shortages, the council has decided to shut down the school after holding a virtual meeting with teachers and parents last Friday. The school hosted about 20 students and offered courses in languages, computer technology, accounting, and vocational training in tailoring and mechanics. And that's the latest from Myanmar for this week. I'll be back next week to bring you a roundup of all the stories making the headlines on Friday, June 26th.